I remember the night being unusually dark. I remember the details of the night. Unlike any other memory, really, I feel like. I remember pulling up to the park and him sitting in the back of the car and telling me, my guy doesn't have any more, pain pills for you. There's this stuff you can get, it's like half the price and it's gonna get you way more high. And I said, yeah. It was like this moment where the gravel under my feet just gave in. And everything from there is like a tumbling. Yeah. My name is Precious, Preshess. I was the only black kid in my family, and I was different, and my hair was different, and my skin was different, and all these different things that just kind of led to me believing that I was the black sheep. And so because I felt that way, I felt like it was my responsibility to achieve greatness. By the time I was in high school, I was like receiving awards from the president for my philanthropic efforts, and I was an assistant to the volunteer coordinator for my high school, and mission trips to Guatemala and all over the United States, and everybody else probably thought I was like the golden child, It's almost like the more I achieved, the more this kind of dark, depressive, abusive memories, things would just kind of attack me. I kind of just sought out some different ways to medicate that, And so started using drugs. By the time I graduated high school, even though I graduated with all these honors and all these amazing accolades, I graduated as a heroin addict. And the addiction kind of took over and kind of took the front seat, And so part of my descent was losing my home and being homeless. I just remember feeling this overwhelming feeling of just disparity. Yeah, that was hard. When I was 19 years old, I was on the streets and just hanging out with some crazy people, and I remember feeling like I was just surrounded by so many strangers. I didn't necessarily like that feeling. But as it got later in the night, I, pulled out my sleeping bag and laid in the row of homeless people that were there. And I remember saying probably the smallest prayer I've ever prayed in my life. And I don't know how much I really even meant it. But I just said, God, get me out of here. But I woke up the next morning and packed up my stuff like I normally did every day, and ended up making some really bad decisions, using in some places that I really shouldn't have used. And as I was walking down the street, I was so intoxicated that, to be honest, I don't really remember a lot about the actual being put in cuffs. What was strange is that moment that I realized I was in jail, at the same time my thought was just being angry with God. Like, this is not what I meant by get me out of here. But at the same time, just this overwhelming humility came over me of just knowing that He was going to answer that prayer, and I wasn't going to be going willingly. My whole life needed to be rehabilitated, And so they give you kind of these lists of places that you can go after incarceration when you're in jail, and one of those was a peaceful habitation. Not 24 hours later, I called Leticia and I said, I need this. I don't have any other options. She had this firm love, is the best way I could say it. And I knew it was like something that I had craved my whole life. Somebody that was not gonna play a game, but was gonna tell you how it was, but love you through the whole thing. The program demands putting structure where there is chaos. And that's a very hard thing to do. It's a very difficult transition to make. But because there are people that believed in me, I was able to graduate, and I was able to make some leaps and bounds in that climbing journey that I was in. Once I was able to make one peak, which was really the addiction, that was like peak number one. Stop doing things that are crazy, and stop self-sabotaging and all of these things that kind of go with that. Because really, once I made it and I can show these women that it's possible, that is so much more fulfilling than me being a business owner or anything, really. Even if I made it to be some big artist somewhere, like, the only reason why it would be awesome for me is because I could take all of that money and pour it back into seeing that other people could have a chance. So, and it's strange because I feel like it's the kind of thing that you don't really choose. It kind of chooses you. And that's kind of the position that I have to be in order to even see this fruit, the fruit for these women even grow, is for them to see somebody that's willing to love them unconditionally.